Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we are traveling back thousands of years to discover one of the most fascinating stories in North American history, the birth of Canada. Have you ever wondered when Canada actually came into existence? Who lived there before it became a country? Why is it called Canada? And how did a vast wilderness of forests, mountains, rivers, and frozen lands become one of the world's most peaceful and developed nations? Stay with me until the end, because Canada's story is filled with exploration, conflict, survival, and remarkable transformation. Long before Canada existed as a country, the land was covered by enormous glaciers during the last ice age. Around 15,000 years ago, as the climate began to warm, these glaciers slowly melted, revealing forests, rivers, grasslands, and lakes across the continent. Thousands of years before Europeans arrived, the first people crossed a land bridge known as Beringia, connecting Asia and North America. These early settlers gradually spread across the continent and became the ancestors of today's indigenous peoples. For thousands of years, indigenous nations built thriving civilizations throughout the region. They developed unique cultures, languages, governments, and trading networks. The Inuit settled in the Arctic, mastering survival in one of the harshest climates on Earth. The First Nations lived across forests, mountains, plains, and coastal regions, while the Métis people later emerged from the blending of indigenous and European cultures. Long before European explorers appeared, these communities had already established rich traditions, sophisticated societies, and extensive trade routes. Around the year 1000 AD, Norse Vikings led by Leif Erikson became the first known Europeans to reach North America. They established a small settlement in what is now Newfoundland. Although their colony lasted only a short time, it proved that Europeans had reached Canadian lands centuries before Christopher Columbus sailed across the Atlantic. The next major chapter began in the late 1400s. European kingdoms were searching for new trade routes to Asia. In 1497, the Italian explorer John Cabot sailed under the English flag and landed on the eastern coast of present-day Canada. His voyage gave England its first claim to parts of North America and opened the door for future exploration. In 1534, French explorer Jacques Cartier sailed into the Gulf of St. Lawrence. During his expedition, local indigenous people used the word Canada, meaning village or settlement, to describe their community. Cartier misunderstood the word and began using it to refer to the surrounding land. Over time, the name evolved into Canada, and eventually it became the official name of the country. In the early 1600s, France established permanent settlements in the region known as New France. Samuel de Champlain founded Quebec City in 1608, creating one of the oldest European settlements in North America. French settlers developed strong relationships with several indigenous nations through the fur trade. Beaver pelts became one of the most valuable commodities in Europe, bringing wealth and encouraging further colonization. As both France and Britain expanded their colonies, competition for control of North America intensified. Numerous wars were fought throughout the 17th and 18th centuries. The decisive moment came during the 7 Years' War. In 1759, British forces defeated the French at the Battle of the Plains of Abraham near Quebec City. 4 years later, the Treaty of Paris officially transferred most French territories in Canada to Britain. Although Britain now controlled the land, many French-speaking residents remained. Instead of forcing them to abandon their culture, Britain passed laws allowing French Canadians to keep their language, religion, and legal traditions. This decision helped preserve Canada's unique bilingual identity that still exists today. Following the American Revolution in 1776, thousands of people who remained loyal to Britain fled north into Canadian territories. These loyalists helped establish new towns and strengthened British influence. During the War of 1812, the United States attempted to invade Canada, but British soldiers, Canadian militia, and Indigenous allies successfully defended the colonies. This victory strengthened a growing sense of unity among the people living in British North America. By the mid-1800s, political leaders believed the colonies would be stronger if they united into a single nation. They wanted better defense, economic growth, and a railway connecting the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. After years of discussion, representatives met in a series of conferences to design a new country. Finally, on July 1, 1867, the British North America Act came into effect. The colonies of Ontario, Quebec, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick officially united to form the Dominion of Canada. This historic event is known as Canadian Confederation and marks the official birth of modern Canada. Sir John A. Macdonald became Canada's first Prime Minister and played a major role in shaping the young nation. Over the following decades, Canada continued to grow. Manitoba joined in 1870, British Columbia in 1871 after promises of a transcontinental railway, Prince Edward Island in 1873, Alberta and Saskatchewan in 1905, Newfoundland and Labrador in 1949, and Nunavut was created in 1999 to provide greater self-government for the Inuit people. One of the greatest achievements in Canadian history was the construction of the Canadian Pacific Railway. Completed in 1885, it connected the country from coast to coast, encouraged immigration, boosted trade, and helped unite distant provinces into one nation. Canada also played an important role in both world wars. Thousands of Canadian soldiers fought bravely in Europe, earning international respect through battles such as Vimy Ridge during World War I and the Normandy invasion during World War II. Their sacrifices strengthened Canada's reputation as an independent and capable nation. Although Canada had gradually gained more independence over time, it remained legally connected to Britain in several ways. In 1931, the Statute of Westminster granted Canada greater legislative independence. Then, in 1982, the Constitution Act transferred full constitutional authority from Britain to Canada. Queen Elizabeth II remained Canada's monarch, but Canada became fully responsible for its own constitution and laws. Today, Canada is the second largest country in the world by land area, stretching from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean and north to the Arctic Ocean. It is famous for its breathtaking natural beauty, including the Rocky Mountains, Niagara Falls, vast forests, countless lakes, and stunning national parks. The country is also known for its multicultural society, welcoming immigrants from around the world while protecting the rights and traditions of Indigenous peoples. Canada has built one of the world's strongest economies through natural resources, technology, agriculture, education, healthcare, manufacturing, and international trade. Cities like Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, Calgary, and Ottawa have become global centers of business, innovation, and culture. The story of Canada is not simply about borders or governments. It is a story of ancient civilizations, courageous explorers, determined settlers, Indigenous resilience, political compromise, and peaceful nation building. From a land shaped by glaciers to a modern country admired across the globe, Canada's journey spans thousands of years of history. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed learning about how Canada came into existence and the remarkable journey that transformed it into the nation we know today, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next journey through history. See you in the next video.